Coming up on the Hilton Head News, a look at another side of the art of Dr. Seuss. Also ahead, Hilton Head firefighters lend their support to the families of fallen firefighters. Stand by, the Hilton Head News is next. Welcome to the Hilton Head News. I'm Allie McNair. South Carolina Republican Senator Lindsey Graham says if his party blocks immigration reform, Republicans will fail to win the next presidential election. Senator Graham, who helped write the bipartisan immigration bill, which is now under consideration by the U.S. Senate, appeared on Meet the Press Sunday. Senator Graham said, quote, "If we don't pass immigration reform, if we don't get it off the table in a reasonable, practical way, it doesn't matter who you run in 2016. We're in a demographic death spiral as a party, and the only way we can get back in good graces with the Hispanic community, in my view, is pass comprehensive immigration reform. If you don't do that, it really doesn't matter who we run, in my view," end quote. The Karis Art Gallery held a reception on Friday night for the Art of Dr. Seuss exhibition. Bill Dreyer, collection curator and authority on the art of Theodore Geisel, spoke about what makes this exhibit special.
You get to see two different sides of the good doctor. Everybody comes in and expects to see his best known, best loved works, The Cat in the Hat, Horton, Yertle the Turtle, Green Eggs and Ham, and those works are here. But the most exciting part of it for me is the secret art of Dr. Seuss. And those are the paintings and sculptures he did at night for himself that he rarely, if ever, exhibited to the public. And he told his wife, Audrey Geisel, "When I'm gone, I want you to share this with the world." And for the past decade, we've been bringing the collection out and sharing it with people. And the response has been phenomenal.
Dreyer says he wound up representing the works of Dr. Seuss by communicating an important but simple message to Geisel's widow.
We wanted to see Dr. Seuss's works in fine art galleries alongside of the old and modern masters, Picasso, Warhol, Rembrandt, and the like. And that's really where this work should be. He is being considered a significant 20th century American artist, and now we can recognize him in that way through his other artworks.
A fire truck was parked at the Country Club of Hilton Head on Saturday. That's because the Hilton Head Firefighters Association was holding its annual Spring Swing for Charity golf tournament. Organizer Chad McRory says the proceeds go to a worthy cause.
We are sponsoring the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation, and that organization helps out families of the firefighters who have made the ultimate sacrifice in giving their lives for the fire service. Additionally, all of the monies raised throughout the year go to local charities. We sponsor 4 local charities this year. Last year we were lucky enough to donate $40,000 back to local charities. So we, in fact, support the community that supports us.
McRory thanked the many sponsors and volunteers who helped make their tournament a big success. Well, Coligny Beach was the site of the annual Attorney Chase 5K run and walk on Friday night. The warm weather didn't stop runners and walkers from taking part in that event. The money raised there goes to fund Low Country legal volunteers. Now here's a look at news from around the state. Former State Senator T. Edmund Garrison Jr. has died. He was 91. Senator Garrison died at his Anderson home on Sunday. He served as both a state representative and as a member of the state Senate. Garrison was a longtime proponent of agriculture and conservation within South Carolina. Among the many recognitions he received, the Order of the Palmetto and the Clemson Distinguished Service Alumni Award. An 11-year-old South Carolina boy's funeral on Sunday in Rock Hill came after the North Carolina top health administrator said his death could have been avoided. Jeffrey Williams died on June 8th. He was the 3rd person to die from carbon monoxide poisoning while staying at a Best Western hotel in Boone, North Carolina. His mother survived. Back in April, a couple staying in the very same room died from carbon monoxide poisoning. Their cause of death was determined on June 1st, 7 days before Williams died of carbon monoxide poisoning in that same room. The county medical examiner failed to notify local health officials who could have shut down the motel. That medical examiner has since stepped down. Well, a Bluffton man could face years in prison for drug trafficking after investigators found 137 marijuana plants growing in his backyard just last month. 66-year-old Frank Peters recently told the Beaufort Gazette that he was growing the plants for his ailing wife. Peters, the sole caregiver for his wife of 40 years, said marijuana helped her cope with many medical issues, including fibromyalgia and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, also known as COPD. He told the newspaper that the drug helped her sleep and increased her appetite. Now, the use of medical marijuana is legal in South Carolina, but it has to be purchased through the state's Department of Health and Environmental Control. Reportedly, that's something no one has done since the law passed back in 1980. Well, a South Carolina bowler rolled a perfect game at the U.S. Bowling Congress Open Championships in Reno, Nevada on Sunday. Lee Vanderhoff of Greenville had 12 consecutive strikes for his perfect score. His achievement came nearly 4 years to the day that he had bowled his first perfect game in that tournament. Vanderhoff is the 28th bowler in the 110-year history of the USBC Open Championships, with multiple 300s on the championship lanes. Well, still to come on the Hilton Head News, BJ Frazier of the Hilton Head Sun will have the latest on whether or not we'll wind up paying higher sales taxes in November when we shop in Beaufort County. Also ahead, Town Manager Steve Riley on the possibility that Hilton Head will pay more for an increased presence from the Beaufort County Sheriff's Office. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Brown Golf, where playing here has its rewards. Purchase a 20-round package of golf prior to May 1st, 2013, and receive a full day with yours truly. That's 18 holes of golf, 2-hour mini school, and lunch. To purchase that package, go to browngolfmanagement.com. That's browngolfmanagement.com. Now, let's go humble the golf course.
BJ Frazier of the Hilton Head Sun joins us on the Hilton Head News. Hi, BJ.
Hi there.
Talk about Beaufort County and the possibility of sales taxes being raised in November.
Well, the Beaufort County Council has been talking about this for a while. What they were thinking about is putting in a 1-cent sales tax that would be for everything sold in the county that's now, taxable. And their thought was that they could use those funds to lower the property taxes for property owners here in the county. And there was a lot of debate about it, and they decided that they're not going to do it, and for several reasons, and one of them being that to hold a referendum on that topic would have cost $65,000 to perform. And secondly, a lot of people felt that it's probably not going to lower the tax that much, because what happens is the residents spend sales tax money themselves. And finally, a lot of people felt that once you put this in, it would not expire, which, as we know, that happens quite a bit. So Beaufort wanted it, Port Royal and Bluffton were in favor, but Hilton Head Island was against it. And again, the council voted 7-4 not even to have the referendum.
Hilton Head Island, speaking of which, there are some Forest Beach property owners who have been mighty upset recently. Talk about that, if you would.
Yeah, sure. The ocean front villas on Forest Beach area recently spent $1 million upgrading their villas, and they are adjacent. They actually share a wall with an abandoned building that's owned by the owners of the Metropolitan Hotel. And there's been promises made by those owners over the last several years. They're either going to fix up that building or tear it down and alleviate the problem, because there are safety concerns with fire and other reasons. And the new owners pledged they're going to do something about it, so we'll stay on top of the story, and hopefully they'll either fix it or tear it down.
Great, and I know you'll keep us posted.
Sure.
The Rowing and Sailing Center, something that's been talked about a lot on Hilton Head Island. Is it proceeding? Where are we at?
Well, about 5 years ago, the Rowing and Sailing Club said they pledged that they would raise $500,000 to go towards the creation of a new rowing and sailing center on Skull Creek. And the $1 million project kind of got delayed, and they never really raised the money and never got the pledges going, and now the town council is getting frustrated by it. They're going to go ahead and vote pretty soon to approve that $950,000 funding, and then the project will start once they get all the exact quotes in place. And they're just not going to put a lot of the frills in that perhaps the rowing and sailing clubs wanted.
Well, BJ Frazier, the Hilton Head Sun, as always, great to have you here on the Hilton Head News. We appreciate your time.
Happy to do it, Allie.
Charlie Clark, Vice President of Communications for the Hilton Head Island-Bluffton Chamber of Commerce, is here to talk about regionalism and the business community. Hi, Charlie.
Hi, Allie.
What can you tell us about the Low Country and the business community as far as developing locally and really the importance of looking at things regionally?
You know, Allie, I mean, business does not stop at the bridge. It's part of the reason we're the Hilton Head Island-Bluffton Chamber of Commerce. And I'm not just talking about that bridge to the mainland. I'm talking about the bridge into Beaufort. I'm talking about the Savannah Bridge. And for many people, it's a bridge nationally and globally, depending on what your business is. So it's important that we kind of look at things business-wise from a regional perspective, and as the economy recovers, that's exactly what's happening.
And what about opportunities for businesses really to learn what's happening in the business community? And when we say community, both north and south of the Broad.
You know, businesses really do a disservice if they only look in terms of their own backyard. You know, the way of the world is moving broader, not smaller. Just for example, this month alone, we'll have a business after hours event in joint with the Beaufort Chamber, because again, as we said, business doesn't stop at the bridge. Putting the two groups together from Hilton Head, Bluffton, and from Beaufort, as well as there'll be a series of charrettes that are happening in Bluffton to help define the Bluffton brand. What does that mean? That matters to Hilton Head, that matters to Beaufort, it matters to all of us because it's such a fast-growing area, and defining who we are and explaining that to the world is pretty important for business.
Well, you speak about growing, and how does that growth in the Low Country contribute really to the area's business community?
It just makes us a larger entity. If you look at the numbers, they're pretty astounding. The U.S. Census on the last go-round, growth on Hilton Head Island grew 10%, and in Bluffton a whopping 883%, in large part due to annexation as well as the growth of Bluffton. It's always been one of the fastest-growing areas in the state of South Carolina, and that will continue as the economy recovers. So that regionalism, making sure we're looking at things from a bigger perspective, as I said, than our own backyard, is always important when it comes to business.
How about business networking, and really what kind of impact does that have on the local community as far as contributing to the local and the regional economy too?
Yeah, networking is always, and many businesses have told us, it's one of their number one reasons they belong to any chamber of commerce, is the connections that they make and the ability to make those connections across regional lines, across state lines, in many cases across national lines, is what it takes to make business successful. And so many of our businesses do work on a different level, on a national level, on a global level. So it's important to remember in your own backyard as well as what's out there with the bigger picture.
Well, Charlie Clark, as always, we appreciate your time here on the Hilton Head News. Thanks so much. And when we return, Town Manager Steve Riley joins us, as well as the President and CEO of Hilton Head Regional Healthcare. Stay right there.
Have you noticed all of the people, activity, construction, and new business on Buckwalter Parkway? Buckwalter Place is a 94-acre knowledge-based, mixed-use, new town development in Bluffton, South Carolina, and is the focus and nexus of a significant amount of economic, commercial, governmental, educational, entertainment, social, and cultural activity in southern Beaufort County. If you haven't already, visit Buckwalter Place and experience it for yourself. Buckwalter Place. Live well. Connected.
Town Manager Steve Riley joins me on the Hilton Head News. Hi, Steve.
Allie, good to see you.
Well, I want to ask you about something that appeared in the paper with regards to the Beaufort County Sheriff's Office. During the workshop session with Town Council, apparently you heard from the Sheriff's Office that they were hoping to get an additional some $700,000 for additional patrols and work on the island. Where does that stand right now?
Yeah, that was a request for a special 5-man team targeted law enforcement unit. And where it is, I guess at this point, is it wasn't budgeted. And it's something that we'll talk about probably over the course of probably starting in the fall sometime and into the next year for possible discussion in budget.
Another topic that came up during that work session was with regards to whether or not Town Council should okay some financial help once again for the Arts Center of Coastal Carolina. Now we're taping this on the 17th. I know Town Council is going to be meeting this week, but where are things as of now?
Well, that idea was one of, they have this $5 million capital campaign. They've got $5 million in pledges, and but it's coming in over a period of time. Most of it is in the form of bequests or multi-year commitments. The idea was to loan them some money against those future capital campaign receipts for some immediate work on the building. I think that's kind of going to pull back a little bit, and we'll see what the consultant does. We're interviewing consultants actually today.
And explain, Steve, if you would, when you say the consultant, what's this consultant going to be doing?
Consulting firms to help us evaluate not just the Arts Center, but really the arts community on Hilton Head Island in all of its facets, and really look at, because all of them have issues, all of them have financial strains, and to just focus on the Arts Center is to fail to recognize that we've got bigger issues all over.
So will the consultant come in and kind of take a look at the big picture here on the island? And do you have any idea when you might get the report back from that consultant?
Probably the late fall, winter, but I think we might get some interim input along the way.
Okay, and budget is wrapping up for the town of Hilton Head Island?
Should be finalized tomorrow night.
All right, Steve Riley, Town Manager for Hilton Head Island. It's always great to have you here, and we look forward to seeing you the next time, too.
All right, thanks.
Now on the Hilton Head News, Mark ONeill. He is the president and CEO of Hilton Head Regional Healthcare. Full disclosure, we want to let you know that Hilton Head Regional Healthcare is an advertiser here on WHHI-TV. Mark ONeill, thank you for joining us.
Great to be here, Allie.
I want to start off by talking about cardiac care. A few months ago, I had the chance to speak with Chief LaVarn Lucas of Hilton Head Fire and Rescue. He was telling me that statistically, our survival rate after a heart attack here on the island far surpasses any numbers, national numbers, etc., due in part to AEDs, EMTs, but also he mentioned the care at the hospital. Can you speak to that?
Sure. I think just to add to that, recently we were awarded the Society for Thoracic Surgeons 3-star rating, and there are only 15% of the hospitals in the country that get that rating. And that's at the end of the path that the chief was talking about, where our cardiac surgery team and their outcomes are recognized as some of the best in the country. And you've said it correctly, we couldn't do that without the support of the Hilton Head Fire and Rescue and Beaufort County EMS. It's a collective effort to get those kinds of results for our community.
Yeah, I believe the survival rate was up over 90%, and if anyone goes online and Googles, generally on average, it's much, much lower than that.
Right.
I know that Hilton Head Hospital recently opened a new orthopedic unit, I believe back in March. One article that I had read said before that time about 2/3 all residents that were in need of joint replacement surgeries were heading off island for surgery, Savannah, Beaufort. How can you speak to the care that people will get in your unit at Hilton Head Hospital? Will it meet or exceed the care people have been getting off island?
Right, it'll exceed. We're very proud of the orthopedic program that we put together, both for joints and for sports injuries, which are very important for this community. And what we've done is recruit 2 world-class physicians to join our 3 that are already here to form an orthopedic program that, again, works from the doctor's office to sessions, education, and prevention for people that are considering or having hip problems, to the actual operating room and a floor in the hospital. All of that is coordinated now in an integrative way so that we provide really excellent orthopedic care. And we'll see how those numbers turn out, but in any case, we never want people to leave the community for services that we know they can receive here.
And I would imagine the need is great and will be getting greater when you take a look at the demographics here on Hilton Head Island.
Right. We have the aging population who falls, breaks hips, and those sorts of things and need hip replacements. And then we've got the young elderly. I might be one of those who are still playing the sports, tennis, golf, and the rest, and either are injured or want to improve their situation, and that's what our program is set up to support.
Well, I want to thank you, Mark ONeill, President and CEO of Hilton Head Regional Healthcare. From, what do you say, the young elderly, or what's the term you use?
Well, my wife won't agree with this, but the young elderly.
Okay, I'm going to say from one young elderly person to another. Thanks for joining us here on the Hilton Head News. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Joining me now to talk about real estate, in particular vacation homes, James Wedgeworth. He is a realtor on Hilton Head Island, and full disclosure, he is an advertiser here on WHHI-TV. James, Hilton Head Island's gotten a lot of press or media attention lately, especially in regards to vacation homes. I know you were on CNBC recently. There was something written up in BloombergNews.com. New York Times featured the Hilton Head area real estate vacation homes recently too. How much does that impact us here?
It really has a very positive impact on the market. When we did the CNBC special 2 weeks ago with Diane Olick, they mentioned Hilton Head and Hamptons. So anytime you tie it in with Hamptons, that's great publicity.
Do you notice an increase in volume of inquiries where you are after, say, exposure on CNBC or Hilton Head getting attention in the New York Times?
You always see a blimp if you're, and it's funny the way it works. A lot of times it's people that are already familiar with Hilton Head, and they would call up and say, hey, I saw you on TV. That was a great piece. That was good for Hilton Head. It makes them think about Hilton Head. If it makes them think about it, it makes other people think about it too. It's kind of like the publicity we get for the Heritage Golf Classic. That's always good.
Yeah, good news is always a good thing, especially when it seems to be good news. In that BloombergNews.com article, they were saying that vacation rental properties are moving more now. They profiled a couple that had looked here on Hilton Head Island, said no a couple years ago, came back and now bought. Is that what we're really seeing? Is that a trend?
We're seeing a trend where the market is heading in the right directions. I recently told somebody for the first time in 8 years I see light at the end of the tunnel. He said, well, you're still in the tunnel. I said, maybe we are, but there's light at the end of it.
What about the cost of homes, or I guess the value of homes? You had mentioned another time when you were here that homes that were maybe priced in the $300,000 to $500,000 range or were moving more quickly than those that are $1 million plus. Is that still the case?
It's still the case. It's trickle up, not trickle down in our business. It's like the snowball rolling. You know, the guy sells the $350,000 house, then he might buy a $600,000 house. The guy that sells the $600,000 house may buy $1 million. $1 million $2 house. So you got to start the ball rolling. The ball is rolling, it's just not halfway down the hill yet.
Well, one thing you educated me on was inventory, and when you have a lot of it, things tend to move more slowly.
Yeah.
Foreclosures, in that same Bloomberg article, they said they're way down here on the island. Is that the case?
That's true. They're down everywhere. Most places they don't have any. In Middle America, they're all gone. Unfortunately, we still have them here, and unfortunately, Allie, that does affect the market, you know.
What about perception, though? In general, nationally, the real estate news seems more positive. That's got to help, doesn't it?
I told somebody the other day, I said, our market's still a little slow, but everybody thinks it's better, so therefore in the future it will get better, because if people think it's better, it will get better. So that's the good news.
Well, James Wedgeworth, as always, a pleasure to have us.
Always a pleasure to visit with you guys. Y'all do a great job. I appreciate it.
Well, pleasure speaking with you. Thanks for your time. And coming up next, we'll tell you where to go on Hilton Head Island. Stay right there.
How's the air temp at your house? Hotter? Colder? Never fear, Season 7 at Covert Air is now underway. If your home is not in the comfort zone, we can be on the scene today. Clean a little coil, find a little leak. If it's over the hill, replace it. Summer's coming, have no worries. Sit back, relax, and stay cool. Covert Air to the rescue. Available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Nancy Watts is here to tell us where to go on Hilton Head Island. Hi, Nancy.
Hi, Allie.
Well, Tuesday this week, it's a big night, right?
We've been waiting for it. It's fireworks. They've added that to Harbor Fest in order to make it a really big, spectacular thing. About 9 o'clock, you'll hear boom, boom, boom if you're not there. And if you're there, you'll see all these wonderful fireworks. And it's a wonderful opportunity to take your kids and let them get excited and buy them an ice cream cone or whatever, and have a good time.
Yeah, and that's at Shelter Cove Harbor. Also, activities get underway there, though, right? Earlier, say about 5 o'clock with different things going on?
Yes, they do. They start early, and Cappy the Clown is there, and she face paints. And there are other little shops that are open, and you can shop. Oh, and it is a great shopping
Right.
Great shopping time.
And Shannon Taylor, too, provides music for the kids.
Shannon Tanner is, yes, he does. He does 2 shows. And then, coming up this Friday night, it's the first time you'll get a chance to hear Shan Tan and the Oyster Reefers. doing Jimmy Buffett music.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Speaking of music, the musical Chicago gets underway pretty soon here on Hilton Head Island.
Oh, it does. And you know, the last time they did that, I said it was probably one of the very best things I've ever seen them do. So it's back again, and it's worth your time. You really should go.
Great, and that's at the Arts Center of Coastal Carolina. And before we let you leave, I know you want to tell us about Caligny Plaza that has a lot going on during the summer months.
Kids going and having a good time. I'm not sure they're doing morning shows this year. They used to do morning shows and evening shows, but for sure they're doing the evening shows. So take your children over there, grab a bite to eat, and take the children, and they'll have a wonderful time. It's all free. You can't beat free.
Right, and I guess a different theme every day, like Magic Monday, Tuesday, family crafts and the like, so always something to do there too, right?
It is. It's a good time, and you're just across from the beach, so if you get there and it's still daylight, shoot, walk on the beach a minute. You'll have a good time.
All right, Nancy Watts, as always, great to have you here on the Hilton Head News. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And we appreciate your watching this edition of the Hilton Head News. I'm McNair. We'll see you the next time.